Welcome to the Shelf Learner, educating myself with the books from my shelf. Have you ever struggled trying to select the next book to read? Maybe you experience analysis paralysis because of the millions and millions of books in publication. Well, what I found very helpful in selecting the right book is understanding the 8 categories for syntopical reading and how to apply it to find the right book to be inspired and transformed in mind, body, and spirit. So before we discuss the 8 categories, just want to briefly talk about what people typically do now. A lot of people base their book selection on maybe the front cover, a recommendation from a family or friend, or maybe they just feel inspired, they feel drawn to a book. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but in this video, I like to challenge you to think a little bit more broader and select books holistically based on these 8 categories. The 8 categories are aligned with the 8 categories for goal setting, which is number 1, spiritual, physical, which includes overall health, nutrition, and fitness. You have educational. Educational is very broad. It's learning how to learn, books on biographies, history, math, science. You have professional, financial, family, social, and finally personal, which includes interests, hobbies that you have. So this video is going to be very interactive. You might want to pause the video, grab a piece of paper and a pen so that we can go over the 8 categories, and we're going to rank them, each category from a scale of 1 to 5. 1 being needing the most improvement, 5, you're doing the things correctly, you just need to continue doing what you're doing. All right, so we're going to pause the video, and once you get back with the paper and pen, we'll continue. Okay, great. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go over each one of those categories, and once we're done, I'm going to go over some of the books that I've read over the course of the past 30 plus years on each one of those categories. Okay, first of all, let's start with spiritual. And be honest with yourself. On a scale of 1 to 5, where do you see your relationship with the Creator? 1 being you don't have a relationship with the Creator, all the way to 5, you do have a healthy relationship with the Creator and you're walking consistently each and every day. So on a scale of 1 to 5, where do you see yourself spiritually? Okay, let's move on to physical. How's your health? On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being you're very sickly, 5, you're at the top of your game, you work out every day, you eat the optimal foods, you're doing everything correctly. So on a scale of 1 to 5. Educational. Do you understand how to learn, how to teach yourself? Do you have a healthy reading diet of reading about influential people, historical events, academic subjects, the classics, literature, the classic literature, both modern as well as from the past? Where do you see yourself professionally? On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being you don't know what you want to do, 5, you're living your dream profession. Financial, on a scale of 1 to 5, 1, you're in debt over your head and you don't know what to do. 5, you have healthy investments, making money where you can live comfortably without a job. Where do you see yourself in your family, your relationships with your parents, your siblings, your spouse, your children, on a scale of 1 to 5? Social, it's your relationships with your fellow man, your neighbor, your coworkers, on a scale of 1 to 5. And finally, personal. Do you have hobbies that you're pursuing, or you don't know what to select for a hobby? Okay, so now that you've done that for all 8 categories, is there a particular category that you might have marked a 1, 2, or maybe a 3? Which category of those 8 categories need the greatest improvement? So if you identify the one that needs the greatest improvement, wouldn't it make sense to start reading books on that particular subject? Not just to read, but to gain the knowledge and understanding to apply the principles so that you can be successful and improve in that particular category. I'm not trying to place you on a spot here. I've noticed that there's a lot of videos where people talk about reading over 100 books in a year. You know, they go from book to book to book to book on the same genre, whether it be sci-fi, fantasy, romance, whatever it may be. Again, I'm not knocking what a person reads, but if a person reads 100 books in a year on one of those genres that I mentioned, but yet maybe they're struggling financially, they're in debt over their heads, you know, maybe they need to readjust, realign their priorities on what they read. Or maybe they're reading over 100 books in a year, but their health is poor. You know, they're just sitting around reading. Reading is good, but they're not doing anything to take care of their body. So you basically get the point. As this motto for this channel is educating myself with the books from my shelf. The purpose of this channel is to apply syntopical reading to be inspired and transformed in mind, body, and spirit for His glory. So having said that, I would like to share with you some of the books that I've read over the years touching on those categories. First, let's start with spiritual. The Bible. In Matthew chapter 4, verse 4, it says, "Man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God." So every day I read from the Bible so that I could be in tune and keep focused on the prize. And ultimately, that's to hear the Creator say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." In addition to the Bible, I refer to the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance. It breaks down the Hebrew and the Greek words so that you can understand it in greater context. And I also use the dictionary to look up words that I understand. Moving on to physical, here is just one book, How to Be Your Own Nutritionist. You know, hey, we enjoy eating great foods, but we can always educate ourselves in reading about foods that improve our health so that we can be effective in all areas of our lives. Educational, I read the book Peak Learning by Ronald Gross. It's a master course in learning how to learn. Successful lifelong learning along the same lines. Education, also reading about people of influence. Here's Ben Carson's book, Gifted Hands. His mom, Sonia Carson, inspired Ben and his brother to read 2 books a week and to give her a book report. And I found this book very inspirational. I haven't had a TV for over 30 years. I just read books. And it's really been a wonderful experience. Along the lines of literature, this book, This Present Darkness, from Frank E. Peretti. Piercing the Darkness. Educational, learning about history, especially about this country. Truth is a Lonely Warrior by James Perloff. And his sequel, 13 Pieces of a Jigsaw. Moving on to professional, a book that I found inspirational was See at the Top by Zig Ziglar. Talks about motivation, attitude, goal setting. Along those lines, John C. Maxwell's book, 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. Born for This, Chris Guillebeau. If you're struggling trying to find out what your profession is going to be, I encourage you to read this book, Born for This. It helps you identify your skill set and how you can add value to the marketplace. Regarding financial goals, financial reading, a book that I read was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's a classic. Family, relationships, the 5 love languages with Gary Chapman, so that you can improve your relationships with those that are around you, your family and friends. Speaking about social friends, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And finally, for personal goals, I enjoy reading about chess, improving my game. That's pretty much it. I've read hundreds and hundreds of books, and I try to not just read literature, like I've mentioned to you about some people, they read sci-fi, fantasy, romance, westerns. There's nothing wrong with that, but I encourage you to broaden your horizon, to identify of the 8 areas, what areas do you need the greatest improvement? Read multiple books on that subject, and just don't read it to gain knowledge, but read it with the intent of applying the principles so that you can be transformed in mind, body, and spirit, and know which book to select next. I hope this helps. Be inspired, and of course, make it a great day.